This time we go on our very first Not Rod road trip in the C10 to the Bulletproof Drags. Woo! This is the 72 C10 we showed a glimpse of in episode 1. It's got a 5.3 liter Vortec out of a 2001 Silverado, which is based on the now legendary LS platform. I didn't drive it much after installing the engine because I was never 100% satisfied with the fuel system, so as a result it sat around for about the last 2 years. In fact, it sat around so long it developed a green slime all over it, as vehicles that sit normally do, and I was thinking about calling it the red-green truck as a result. But then I realized that'd be stupid, so I didn't. My plan now is to install a gas tank out of a 72 Blazer, which is deep enough that I can get a 2001 Silverado fuel pump to squeeze into. And the website I bought it from says in the notes that it is designed to fit trucks that have a tank in the cab behind the seat and wish to move it under the bed. I will be amazed if this battery's not dead.
I almost guarantee that. No.
No way. Man, I think everything should have an LS engine. This thing was running pretty bad the last time I tried moving it, so we'll see. It was missing on cylinders and stuff.
Oh. Yeah, it just sounds pretty rough.
I mean, it runs so bad it probably won't even do a burnout on grass. Yeah, no. Not even on gravel or nothing. So that needs some attention. All right.
Okay. Woo! Sounds pretty junky.
Obviously it's got a misfire or something, so I got plugs, wires, and injectors, so we can just go through all that.
Right.
If you want to work on all the boring tune-up stuff like that,
yeah, I'll take that stuff over the fuel tank.
then I'll go work on the fuel tank. And
Yeah, that sounds good.
once upon a time, whoever owned this truck put this big long bar right here on this trailer hitch, and I don't plan on towing any big loads with this thing anytime soon, and it's making it a pain to get the gas tank in and out. So that thing's going bye-bye.
I gotta say, the gasoline that I'm draining out of here is very bad looking. Very bad. So that couldn't have been helping the situation.
Now that is what victory looks like right there. So the reason that I'm changing out this whole tank and everything is because when this was put together the last time, this was put on with just a little tiny piece of rubber hose, and the only thing that hose was attached to was this little teeny tiny stub right here that has no flare on it or anything whatsoever. So I didn't think that that was gonna last. I figured with the high pressure that this thing puts out eventually, that was just gonna blow right off of there. The other thing is I modified this factory sender for this tank to run this pump. And right here we've got the power terminal going through, and I had drilled a hole through this to put this through and then put an insulator there. And it has been working okay, but if this bolt was to ever just like move over, or that insulator broke, or the nuts came loose or anything like that, this bolt would arc out on this with this tank full of very flammable gasoline, and I did not think that that was a good idea. Obviously this is not rod, but this is even bad by not rod standards. So this, junk. So I was working on trying to figure out a way to use a factory Silverado fuel pump with this tank, and I figured out I can cut a hole in the tank right up in here, and then I just happened to find this perfect piece of pipe laying around, and this will slip right down inside that just perfectly with the seal and everything. So I'll cut a little sliver off of this pipe, weld that to the top of the tank here, and then I'll have some studs that stick up off the tank that I weld to the top of it, and then I'll have a ring that slides over the top of the pump and then just sandwiches everything down in there, and then clamp some nuts to the bolts, and all done. Whoa, jeez.
Yeah, that's no good.
That ain't gonna work. Fuck. All right, let's try this again, shall we? And that'll go right on there and get welded to the top of the tank. So for the new gas tank to fit in here, we have to cut this cross member out. Now, most real car shows would tell you to grind the head off this rivet and then knock the rivet out to pull that out. But this is not rud, so we're gonna do it the easy way. On the tune-up side of things, Brandon found that the spark plug tips were completely melted off on one bank of cylinders, which I blame on the poor fueling system making the engine run too lean at times. He got the tune-up done pretty quick, so then he moved over to weld an adapter together for the filler neck on the tank. So there comes a point in every project where things start to go wrong and then you ask yourself, why am I doing this? Yeah, that point just happened. As it turns out, the tank that I got for this truck does not fit. The problem that we have is that the filler actually comes out of the tank right directly in the middle of the frame rail. So our first thought was just take the tank and ratchet strap it down into the bed of the truck. We're not going to do that.
Good idea, but...
Yeah, but we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to go full on knot rod yet. So what we're going to do is add a new filler coming out of the top of the tank here at a 90 so that it comes out to about there, so it'll come out just above the top of the frame rail. But for right now, we're kind of tired, so I think it's time to call it a night and drink beer. So all the stuff that seemed impossible last night, we really got to work on today. We've got the fuel pump assembly all set up and ready to go. We had to install a new filler neck, and then I just patched that off. And then we had to install these brackets right here because the frame rail is going to sit right here. And as it turns out, the cross member on the bed actually goes right across here, so this was the only place we could put the fuel pump, which meant that the original pickup, which has the fuel level sender on it, had to be cut off right here and then spun 90 degrees. So now instead of this going right where the new fuel pump is, this will actually go this way. So now what we got left is we're going to JB weld around all of our weld seams on here, just as some added insurance to make sure that it doesn't leak through our welds, and then hopefully install this tank into that truck for the very last time. It's not going to be that pretty, but it is going to be functional.
Again, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully it'll be functional. We'll see. That is a work of art right there. I mean, come on, look at that. Now that's impressive. This is kind of a neat trick if you want to upgrade the transmission cooler in your 72 C10. This tranny cooler is actually out of a 2002 Super Duty with a Power Stroke diesel. And the brackets that come on it from the factory where these bolt holes go through line up perfectly with these raised bumps right here in the core support of a 72 Chevy. Don't ask me how, but apparently Ford wanted to design it just perfectly so that would work.
One more. Hold it.
Okay, well if you want to work on making those straps, then I'll work on finishing the rest of the fuel system. So after 2 ridiculous days of thrashing on this stupid gas tank, we are finally to the point where we can put gas in it, test for leaks, and then run it for a test drive. Hopefully, as long as there's no leaks.
Speaking of leaks, is anything dripping out the bottom?
Well, I do now.
Oh.
Whoa, jeez. It's got an air bubble in it.
Oh, I know why. The one hole we plugged off is supposed to be your vent tube.
Oh. As it turns out, you need somewhere for air to vent out of the tank when you fill it with gas. This is normally done with a hose port that routes to the top of the filler opening, which we of course plugged off. And since we weren't about to pull the tank back out, our solution was to unhook a small hose on the other side of the tank. That's a little better. Definitely got some more spunk, that is for show.
Seems like it's running pretty good.
Yeah, running pretty smooth.
Hopefully the gas tank don't fall out.
Yeah, it's only held in by 2 bolts. So that was 6 weeks ago. And today we are going on our very first Not Rod road trip to the Riverdale Raceway, which is a super old school 8th mile track that doesn't even have electricity or credit card reader or anything, so you gotta pay cash to get in. And they actually have to run the PAs off of generator and all that kind of stuff. In fact, it's so old school, there isn't even a return lane for the cars to come back down the track. They actually have to drive back down the racetrack to get to the staging lanes. It's a blast from the past, it's a ton of fun, and you gotta check it out. We gotta love those old floor vents.
Yeah.
Of course, as soon as we pulled the truck onto the main road, it sputtered a little bit when I got it up past 4,000 RPM. I was worried that maybe the spark plug tips were melting again for whatever reason, so as a test we decided to floor it on a good straightaway.
Maybe on a good straightaway, just get her in passing gear.
Just a fluke.
Yeah.
Doing about 85 miles an hour there, so.
I know. It's like, oh shit, it's the worst corner on the road here. That sneaks up on you.
The odometer spun back around to 0 just a few miles back.
It's a brand new truck.
It's a brand new truck. Brand new Silverado C10 thing.
Yeah. This time next year, we're going to be pulling the Studebaker down.
That's kind of one of the cool things about going to the races. You know, you can get some ideas from like other people that have already built, you know, race cars.
Yeah, exactly. We almost should have thrown the wacky machine in the back.
I know. I thought about it. That would have been cool.
I don't know if it would have fit in there though.
No, not with the canopy. You know, it's really pretty surprising how good one of these old Chevy trucks drives. I mean, you know, this thing's only got 1 inch of play in the steering wheel.
It's not bad at all.
You know you got a brake light out on driver's side.
You know, I did not know that. It'll probably start working again soon.
It's kind of a good shakedown. And it's nice and quiet. Shit, if we were in the Nova, dude, we'd have earplugs in.
I know, this is almost too good for a road trip episode.
It is,
really.
yeah.
And really, I'm surprised at how quiet it is inside the cab, because it's not like there's any insulation or anything. I mean,
No.
it's just metal, you know?
No, I mean, it's got a floor mat on it and stuff.
Not
Then again, I
much
mean,
of
there's,
one, really.
I can see the ground through the floor too, so. Well, it looks like the 30-year-old fire extinguisher still has a charge.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Well, I put a new one under the seat too. So.
Oh, did ya? Nice. Smart. It's good to have one, especially after doing a bunch of work on a fuel system.
Yeah, exactly.
What's up with the radio? Does it work?
I don't think it works. Like, it turns on, but I don't think you can get any stations on.
And you got no tapes in there? That would have been sweet if you had a tape in there.
Like a Mo Bandy tape.
Yeah, that would be awesome. You should put an 8-track player in this bitch. Girls will need tetanus shots to wash this thing. So I've seen that post. It looks like you got some comments on some of the videos. You got any trolls yet, or no? Just people that seem to like it?
No, just pretty much people that like it.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
So that means we haven't quite made it big time yet. When we start getting hate mail, that's when you know
Yeah.
you've made the big leagues. Boy, we're really seeing America today, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Or Washington State.
A small portion of Washington.
Small portion of Western Washington. We could go to Bakota, but we're not gonna.
No, what the hell's in Bakota?
I have no idea. I've never even heard of a Bakota, Washington before. I actually had a dream last night that we were on this trip and we stopped at a gas station to put gas in the truck, and I filled the tank up all the way and gas started spewing out everywhere. It was like a nightmare.
Yeah.
No joke. That's the dream I had last night.
Maybe you shouldn't fill it all the way up.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have to stop and get gas, but I might only put like 10 gallons.
Yeah.
Don't make me push on my brakes. I don't know if the brake lights work.
Yeah, right. Sweet ass Jeep.
Oh, nice.
Look at the header sticking out.
That is sweet.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. Did it.
We made it.
I'm not gonna lie, I had quite a bit of confidence in this thing.
Yeah. I don't know if I had as much as you did, but so we made it. Aside from the truck having a little bit of a stutter coming out of Brandon's place for some reason up in the high RPMs, thing performed flawlessly the rest of the way down here. So I'm just gonna say it fixed itself, and here we are at the races. About this track, it's not grippy like your normal NHRA quarter-mile track. You really got to drive the car coming out of the hole here. It's going to be awesome for the Studebaker. Probably one of the greatest things about this track is just how many different types of vehicles you see all at the same event. From rusted out pickup trucks to old school straight six rails to hopped up 57 Chevys and even the occasional Polaris RZR or Tesla. No matter what your car looks like, it's all about just getting out here and making a pass. Today was basically just a free-for-all test and tune style day for anyone that wanted to run their cars. We spent the rest of the day watching the races and playing with RC crawlers as 30-year-old children do. Dead battery. Oh man, we were right there too. Oh well. Our plan was to camp overnight in the bed of the truck and wake up bright and early for the start of Bulletproof. But that didn't stop the camera crew from snorting vodka for some strange reason. Justin, what is that in your hand?
Cap full of liquor.
And what are you about to do with it?
The back of my skull. Oh, birds. Oh, don't do that. I don't recommend it. Round two. Oh. Oh. Woo. Okay, I'm good. Oh. My eyes are still watering.
Aside from the hangover, Waking up here in the morning is an awesome experience. It's just an interesting contrast how everything starts out so calm and quiet, as if you're just out on a camping trip and surrounded by nature and hills and trees, right up to the point of walking through the pits while the cars start up for the first time in the morning. It was even really cool to be around while a few of the old hot rods took some warm-up laps down the track. Some of them sputtered and popped and banged a few times while the engines warmed up. We stuck around and watched the races for a little while until we came to the realization that it was time to go do a few donuts. So now that we've reached the end, you may find yourself wondering what the point of all this was. Well, not much really. But does there have to be? We started this show because we already had projects to work on and figured why not make a show of it to entertain and inspire some people while having as much fun as we can while we're at it. And if we dare to dream, maybe someday this can be more of a full-time thing for us. In the meantime, don't be afraid to get that old car in your backyard out on the road. It's better than waking up after working for 60 straight years to one day realize that classic car you once loved has now sat there and rotted away. Explore the back roads and see some sights. It's really a liberating experience when you just stop worrying about it. Hey, maybe we'll see you out there on the road.
Well, I mean, do you need to know how much fuel you got in here?
Oh, that's just wrong. But also right in so many ways.
Yep. Oh, that feels so good in my cuts.
My eyes are still watering.
How'd that go down?
Oh, that's not good. Not good. You gotta try, Brandon.
Oh, no.
Oh, come on, man.
No,
It only hurts for a second.
Nah, I ain't done with that shit.
The fun times will last forever.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man.
I don't want to snort up all your shit.
Your turn. You want to do it?
No.
Come on, I'll do you a baby cap. Come on. Yeah.
Maybe want to put on some gloves and just finger that into the holes, you know?
Yeah.